Hello, guys. Good day. This is Anne of Reinforcement Club, your fellow positive reinforcer. Today, I am going to share to you the 8 ways how to cope and grieve a friend's betrayal. Now, to be honest with you guys, I've never been betrayed by a friend outside work. But when you meet a good friend at work, I know deep in my heart they're not actually real friends. But although you could find good friends at work, but you have to think it over that, you know, work and friendship are different. Work means work. You got to be professional when you're at work, and you got to be on a mission when you're at work. But because there are some friends who take advantage to that. There are some woo-woo friends who's thinking that they found a good friend at work, they can use them. And in my case, I've never been betrayed by my friends outside work. I've never heard anyone lie to me outside work. Although rarely some people, but I don't consider them as friends. My real friends are, we talk to each other straightforward on our friend on our face. But in my case, betrayal happens usually at work. And I think most of the people could relate to this, that there are several happenings and stories about betrayal and stabbing at the back. You know, somebody stabbed your back at work that you didn't know. You just happen to know one day that you're already in the principal's office, or you're in the office for some reason. And what I've learned from those experience about work, where you can find good friends, those people who are coward, coward enough to do their job, coward enough to decide what's right, coward enough to improve themselves. Those are, by all means, dangerous people at work. I do admit that, I also found friends at work, good friends, high performers at work. That's why I like working with them. Even though some people, or even myself, sometimes I don't consider myself a high performers, I hang out with these people because I want to be like them. I want to be high performer too. I want to decide like them, to work like them, and have those kind of great work ethic as, just like them. And I'm willing to work hard on that. It's just that sometimes I encountered dangerous people at work, and those are the cowards. You know, when you meet strong people, men and women, they tell you straightforward what they want, even though it could be hurtful sometimes, but they don't stab you at the back. Although, people have different ways, but, at work, there's a lot of things, terrible things that could happen to anyone at work because of weak people, the cowards. Cowards have many faces. They could drag you down, by all means to their level. Now, I have gone through different betrayals at work. So far, I survive. I survive because of the friends I found at work. But I don't really consider them as friends. Well, we could be friends, camaraderie, have a good camaraderie at work. I don't consider them totally 100% friends. Although I know deep down there are also some rare people whom you could consider as friend at work and even outside work, but rarely. It could be 1%, the 1%er, you know. And it rarely happens though. If you ever find people, true friends from work, yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky enough. But the reason why I was able to survive from those terrible betrayals and dishonesty, people stab me at the back, whether it could be my fault or some of it were my fault, but those people want to rise above at other people's expense. So those are also the talent of a cowards, of weak people. I was able to survive because of the strong people at work, the high performers. Not because I hang out with them, but I want to perform like them. And I consider myself as their wing person to the point that I could be like this top performers, high performers at work. Because for me, work is work, and when I have autonomy at work and people could finally trust me, I will do my best not to break those trusts. I want to be one of a heck high performer. That's why I was able to get away, because of the high performer people who believes in me, and who at least you know uh, take me out from the deep shit caused by those weak people who wants to bring me down, who thinks that they can do anything. But you can't really, you can't hide the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth is just quiet. The truth is silent. It doesn't make noise. But when you confront the truth, it is what it is. No matter how dirty it gets, it's the truth. I'm not telling you that you should be scared, going to work, but you got to be careful with whom you can give your trust, because not all people, at work are, and it should be trusted, are worth dying for. Even work itself isn't worth dying for. So be careful who you trust, especially at work. Even outside work, though, you gotta be careful, especially those people who are getting close enough to you. Sometimes you overlook the red flags, and that also happened to me. And for many times, I had issues before. I was sent in the office for some reasons. I even forget some of those happenings. But you know, when you when I am at the stage of still grieving about from being betrayed, from being stabbed at the back. So this what happens to me. I am still at the process. Well, have you even heard about this so-called toxic generosity? That when you give and give and give and give, help and help people all the time, those people at some point will feel being entitled to your help. And when you decide to cut off the help, cut off giving, they started to resent you. So that also happened to me. Now, how did I ever get through it? How I was able to make a decision to just do nothing about it at some point, rather than, raising it to big people. But when you think about really what's the best thing to do, sometimes, although making fast decisions could be a champ because you learn from it, from your mistakes. You want to do another decision. But, there are some things, especially relationships, though, that you need to ponder. You need time to really weigh things through. And, yeah, I got betrayed, and I've decided to do nothing about it because I realized that there's actually no problem. No problem, like no people involved, nobody was hurt. You know, there's just some people who wants to throw stones at you, and me too, that wants to destroy you, wants to crank it up your mood for the day, every day. And to be honest, some of those people could be those who are close to you, so be careful. Now, how did I ever, how I was able to cope up with it and grieve from the betrayal that happened to me? So, the first thing that I did was, after I happened to know the news that I got, I got some issues at hand, which is, from a person whom I consider a good friend in the office. When I happen to know that, but there's actually no problem though. It's just some things, they want to, some people just want to, bring you down. So that initially I got hurt. I allow myself, basically, this is the first, the first tip first way to get over it, to cope up with the pain from betrayal, just first thing is that just allow yourself to feel, those natural range of emotions: anger, sadness, confusion, even guilt of giving this people a chance to be part of your life, to guilt to be so good to them, and they just going to bring you down. So just allow yourself to feel the hurt and confusion and guilt that you've been stabbed at the back, and accept this emotion instead of suppressing them. This is the first step of processing the pain in your heart. You might feel like you've lost trust, which is indeed true, not just in your friend, but in others as well. And it's totally okay to grieve that lost trust. Rest in peace to my trust to you. It hurts, but R.I.P. to you. I mean, R.I.P. to the trust I gave you. No, not R.I.P. to you. I was wrong. R.I.P. to the trust I gave you. So initially, just allow yourself to feel the sadness, the anger. The next thing that I did, the second tip is that I talk to someone I trust. So talk to someone you trust. So I ask perspectives from different friends at work, because this happened at work. So what you can say about this, and yeah, by the way, I also ask a friend outside of work, and different perspectives, so that I can able to know the right option, the right intervention for me. So I'm just open minded, open enough to accept different answers, so that I can come up with my own answers, with my own idea. So I spoke to people I trust at work, and some people outside work. And open up to a friend, a family member, it could be your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend, or therapies if you ever have therapies. Opening up your heart and about the issue, bringing up this issue can to these people can provide emotional relief. Sharing thoughts and feelings with someone supportive can help you gain perspectives and feel less isolated in your experience. So yeah, I felt that too. I felt isolated with those sadness and anger. That's why I shared the issue to some of my friends, which I can workmates whom I consider friends at work. But you still when it comes to work, you gotta be careful, because you must have an aim, which has something to do with work, and sometimes those aim and mission is they could counterbalance or counteract the friendship goals. So yeah, I did talk to someone, to people whom I trust, and I bring up the issue to them. And the next thing I did after talking to them and having different ideas, perspectives from these people, I tried to reflect. Yeah, I did reflect on the relationship, and I was really thinking where I went wrong. And then I found out that I keep helping this person, helping and helping, to the point that this person doesn't do anything at all. And by the time I stopped helping this person, and the person started to resent me, and yeah, make up stories about how wrong I was. And then the truth is by my side. Although yeah, I also made a mistake in my part, which I'm blind enough, because I care about the person, I care about the team, I care about my our performance overall. And then I overlook this toxic generosity, that you must be careful to your pattern of giving, give, and then people will feel entitled to it, and then you're going to be the source of the problem, of their problem, when you stop giving the help. So reflect on the relationship. This reflection can help you understand any patterns or red flags which you might have overlooked. But remember not to blame yourself for the betrayal. Although there are some points, part wherein this could be your fault, because you've given the trust. And giving trust, it's deciding, making decision is not all perfect, 100% perfect. all the time. People make mistakes and you got to learn from it. Number 4 is set boundaries. So, yeah, that's what I did. I try to stay away. I decided to do nothing because I do believe that the issue is just so cheap enough to deserve my time and attention. I am confident in what I do. I know what I'm doing, and there's no stopping me to do that. There's no stopping me to change my brand of the quality of my work. Just for that silly reason, silly stuff, the toxic generosity. I wouldn't allow myself to underperform just to be like those people. Just set boundaries. After the betrayal, it's important to decide what kind of relationship, if any, if you're still thinking about it, if you ever, if, what kind of relationship you want to have with this person, with this kind of workmates. Would you still want to be their friend? Would you still trust them as is, as if nothing shitty happened? Or you just end the friendship entirely? Entirely. Sometimes that's worth deciding because this person hurt you. It breaks, this person broke your trust, like piece of shit, stepping on your trust. So it's important to decide what kind of relationship you want to have with this person. A traitor, let's just say. But yeah, in some point you could, out of anger, you could call this person that way. But that's really what it is. And then set what kind of relationship you want to have this person who hurt you. And, this way, setting boundaries, this is a way to protect yourself, your emotional well-being from this person. Set boundary so that it's not gonna happen again. You're not gonna be manipulated again. Number 5 is forgive and forget. Although I could get over this in time heals, but I swear I will never forget this. Forgiveness is often more about feeling yourself, feeling yourself, how hurt you are, and from that point, from that shitty point of view, to you can gain strength to free yourself from those painful or hurtful feelings. Freeing yourself from bitterness. Then about excusing the other person's action. So just admit that you're bitter, that you're feel guilty about trusting this person, you're angry, and then you start from that. While you don't have to, forget what happened, forgiving can help you move on without carrying the emotional burden, which is worth it though. It's actually hard for me to go on working with this type of people. Although, yes, indeed, working means, you have to get on with these people. But I swear, I will never, ever, ever forget the lesson and will be ever careful with this type of people. And don't do it again. Keep the boundaries up, for the sake of your emotional well-being as well as your mental health. Number 6 is, after you decided what kind of relationships you want to have with this person that hurt you, and you've decided to forgive but never forget, just after that, focus on self-care. Still move on, exercise, eat healthy, read, spend time with your loved ones, pursue your hobbies. If you like golf, then go ahead, basketball, whatever you want to do, just move on with your life. And still, don't be afraid to risk trust again, to risk your trust again to other people, because you're not gonna know who are the people around you are worth dying for, are worth trusting. You'll never know who are the real people when you don't risk your trust. So that's the only time you can able to know if the person is real, when you trust them. When they break it, it's gonna be hurt, but at least you know that you've trusted. You hang around with the wrong person. Number 7 is, what I did was I did learn from this experience. So it's important to learn from experience, from your experience. As to me, yes, I will never forget this thing, this situation when somebody just brought me down, and I didn't know that it happened. It happened when I wasn't around. So at least I know now. In time, you may find that this betrayal teaches you valuable lessons about trust, friendship, and setting your own boundaries. While painful, yes, of course, when somebody just broke your trust, this experience can help you grow emotionally and strengthen your relationships in the future. And you know better now, this time. At least you have learned something. Unlike that person who betrayed you, that person who stabbed you in at your back, look, good luck to them. All the best. You are the only person you can control. So what I did was just keep my head up and still be a top performer. An A player. Although not perfect, but it works. Just aim for that performance. Lastly, give it a time. Give yourself a time. Give the entire situation time. Once again, time heals. Healing from betrayal doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes for a couple of days you still feel angry about that face of a person who betrayed you, who hurt you so bad. But be patient with yourself as you go through the stages of grief, grieving the trust that you gave to this person. Each person processes betrayal differently, so allow yourself as much time as you need to move forward. Just look after yourself, take care of yourself, set boundaries, and look, never forget what happened, then move on. Set boundaries. You got to decide, as I did, what type of relationship you want to have with this person who hurt you, who broke your trust into pieces. Now, by acknowledging your pain from betrayal, the sadness, the anger, and talking to people you trust, and focusing on your own well-being, your own self, your mental health, you can gradually recover from the hurt and rebuild your trust in others as time goes by, although it doesn't happen overnight. I personally believe that time heals. But once again, never ever forget the lessons that you get from the betrayal. And those are valuable lessons for you so that in the future, you already have a criteria of people whom you can trust, and you can even improve those criteria. And you'll be a better, stronger person, as you go through with your life. Just mind your own business and, stay away from those shitty people, the cowards, the weak. Stay away from them and keep your top performing talent on the go, top performing energy on the go. Move on with your life, but keep the lessons. So, if you ever love this episode today, you can follow me in YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, even in Amazon Podcasts. Reinforce Me Club. This is Anne, by the way, your fellow positive reinforcer. I do appreciate your time and have a lovely day ahead. Thanks.